Have you ever felt like the years are speeding by faster than you can keep up? It's a common experience as we get older, suddenly noticing little changes in our health, relationships, and even the way we think about the world around us. These changes might seem minor at first, but they can quickly add up, leaving you feeling uncertain about how to handle them. If you're over 60, you might be facing some hidden dangers that, if left unchecked, can significantly impact your quality of life. In this video, we're going to reveal the 7 biggest mistakes that seniors often make, which can hurt not only your physical health but also your peace of mind and overall well-being. From holding on to things that no longer serve you to becoming too involved in family matters, these common pitfalls can weigh you down in ways you might not even be aware of. Many of us can become so focused on avoiding change that we end up stuck, missing out on the true potential of our golden years. Why should you stick around until the end of the video? Understanding these mistakes and learning how to avoid them could be the key to living your later years with more freedom, happiness, and health. By the end of this video, you'll have practical advice on how to create more space both mentally and physically, so that you can enjoy life without unnecessary baggage. We'll also explore ways to improve your relationships without overstepping boundaries, and how to make smarter health choices that will support your well-being. With simple daily habits, you'll discover how easy it can be to live with greater confidence and joy as you age. If you haven't already, I encourage you to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you won't miss any future videos. Your support means so much to me, and if you enjoyed this video, you can help me spread these valuable insights by liking and sharing it with your friends and family. And finally, if you resonate with the topic of this video, please comment 1 below to let me know. If not, feel free to comment 0 to share your thoughts on how I can improve the content to make it more helpful to you. Now, let's get started. Mistake number 1. The first dangerous mistake is attachment to things. In many cultures, there's a deep sense of attachment to material possessions, and this often comes from a place of sentimentality or the desire not to waste. In the US, we might not have a term exactly like Japan's monai, but the idea of holding on to things because they are still useful or valuable is something many of us can relate to. While this mentality can be useful at certain times in life, holding on to things, especially in your later years, can become a heavy burden, both physically and emotionally. For example, take 77-year-old Margaret, who couldn't let go of the heavy sofa set she bought 40 years ago. Even though the sofa was old, bulky, and not as comfortable as it once was, she kept it because it had cost a lot of money and she thought it was still usable. Every year, she would move it around to clean underneath, struggling to move it on her own. One day, while trying to shift the sofa, Margaret injured her back and ended up in the hospital. Her doctor advised her that at her age, it was dangerous to lift heavy furniture on her own. Unfortunately, the issue of attachment isn't limited to physical objects. It's even more prevalent in today's digital society. With the ease of online shopping and the constant stream of advertisements, it can lead to a different form of attachment. Take 75-year-old John, for instance. He checked his emails every day for sales notifications, and before he knew it, he was buying things left and right, just to keep up with the latest trends. His house soon became cluttered with unopened packages, and he found himself spending money on items that he didn't need, money that could have been better spent on hobbies or experiences that truly brought him joy. While old family heirlooms, souvenirs from childhood, or favorite dishes may hold sentimental value, they don't need to control your life. There's an old saying that goes, if you don't possess anything, you have nothing to worry about. The more things you own, the more time and energy you spend managing them, which ultimately takes away from the things that matter, like time for yourself or the things that truly bring you happiness. It's important to recognize 3 common patterns of attachment. The "someday I might use it" syndrome. If you've been holding onto things for years and haven't used them in the last 3 years, they likely aren't as necessary as you think. Ask yourself, when was the last time I needed that extra set of tools or that appliance gathering dust in the garage? The misconception of "because it's effective." Sometimes, we hold on to things because they were once useful, but that doesn't mean they still will add value to our lives. Just because something worked in the past doesn't mean it fits our current needs. Emotional attachment due to memories. We often confuse memories with the items themselves. Our memories live in our hearts and minds, not in the physical objects we keep. People who are overly attached to things often carry more anxiety about the future, fearing they might lose what they have. In short, the inability to let go of things often comes from an underlying fear or anxiety about the future. We hold on to possessions as a way of feeling in control, but in doing so, we only create more clutter in our lives, both physically and emotionally. So what can you do to start letting go? I suggest using the 3-3-3 rule. First, take a good look around your home and choose 3 things that you can immediately let go of. These don't have to be huge items, maybe an old kitchen utensil, a set of books you've already read, or a coat that no longer fits. Next, try living without those items for 3 days. In most cases, you'll quickly realize that your life hasn't been negatively impacted at all by getting rid of them. Finally, wait for 3 weeks and see how you feel. You'll likely notice that your home feels a little less cluttered, and your mind will start to feel lighter as well. By creating space in your life, you make room for new experiences and joys. By repeating this simple process of letting go, you'll find that your home becomes simpler and your mind will follow suit. The goal isn't about throwing things away, but about letting go of what no longer serves you. When you create space by letting go, you open yourself up to new opportunities for joy and growth. Mistake number 2, the second dangerous mistake, is over-involvement in human relationships, especially with family. In today's world, the lines between personal space and family involvement have become increasingly blurred, largely due to the prevalence of smartphones and social media. We now can check in on our children, grandchildren, and even extended family members anytime we want. While this connection can be helpful, it can also lead to inadvertent over-involvement, causing us to unintentionally interfere in ways that might harm our relationships. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Take the case of 73-year-old George. Every morning, without fail, he would text his daughter, Sarah, just to check in and see how she was doing. If she didn't reply right away, George would call her repeatedly throughout the day. He did this out of genuine concern for her well-being, but his constant messages and calls began to take a toll. Sarah, busy with work and raising her children, became exhausted by the constant contact, and eventually she stopped answering the phone altogether. George, feeling hurt, didn't realize that his attempts to show love and care were driving a wedge between them. Similarly, 68-year-old Thomas regularly meddled in the lives of his adult son and daughter-in-law. He believed that his advice, coming from years of experience, was helping them make better decisions. However, one day, his son told him that his advice wasn't needed anymore and that he didn't have to visit as often. The relationship between Thomas and his son deteriorated to the point where it became difficult to repair. There's an old saying that goes, Watching over the growth of children is different from monitoring them. As parents and grandparents, it's crucial to understand this distinction. While we want to be there for our family, we must also respect their autonomy and allow them to make their own choices without excessive interference. So how can we navigate this delicate balance in our relationships? 3 types of distance are essential. Physical distance. Instead of dropping by unannounced or constantly checking in, try visiting once a week or having a short 10-minute phone conversation. This helps maintain healthy boundaries while still staying connected. By reducing the frequency of visits, you'll find that the moments you spend together are more meaningful. Mental distance. It's important to respect the decisions your children and grandchildren make. Offering advice only when asked is a way to ensure that they don't feel overwhelmed or judged. Your experience is valuable, but it should be shared with care and timing. Digital distance. In today's digital age, we're all connected through social media, but that doesn't mean we should constantly monitor or get involved in every aspect of our family's online lives. Instead, focus on direct, meaningful interactions, whether it's a phone call or a face-to-face conversation. These interactions foster deeper connections and prevent unnecessary misunderstandings that often arise in digital communication. As one psychologist wisely pointed out, love without interference is divine. Our desire to help and protect our family often comes from a place of love, but too much interference can have the opposite effect. In today's fast-paced world, younger generations are already dealing with their own stresses, work pressures, parenting challenges, and financial worries, and adding expectations from parents or grandparents only adds to the burden. What's needed from us in our 70s is not so much to act as a constant source of support, but rather to become a watchful presence, someone who can offer subtle advice when asked, but who also knows when to step back and allow our loved ones to grow on their own. This approach not only strengthens relationships but also brings peace of mind both to you and your family. It's also worth remembering that learning is lifelong. In today's digital age, the traditional family dynamic is shifting, and it's important to adapt. Understanding the new ways in which families connect, and respecting the space and boundaries that come with modern communication, don't weaken relationships, they strengthen them. By learning how to create healthier boundaries and communicate more effectively, we have the opportunity to build deeper, more trusting relationships that can endure for years to come. Mistake number 3. The third dangerous mistake is significant misunderstandings about health management. As we age, many of us start to believe that we should slow down and take it easy. After all, our bodies are changing, and it's tempting to think that the best way to preserve our health is by avoiding exertion. At first glance, this seems like common sense, but in reality, it can be a dangerous mindset that gradually undermines our well-being. Take the case of 76-year-old Eleanor, who decided that after retiring, she should take it easy. She spent her days watching television, using her smartphone to browse the news, and passively consuming entertainment. What started as a relaxing change of pace eventually turned into a sedentary lifestyle. Over 2 years, Eleanor gained 22 pounds, 10 kilograms, and her blood pressure started to climb. At her next doctor's appointment, her doctor warned her that her lack of movement was putting her at serious risk for heart disease, diabetes, and other health issues. Similarly, 74-year-old Linda thought that as she got older, it was best to avoid strenuous activities. She stopped walking and exercising, thinking that resting was the safest way to preserve her energy. But in doing so, she weakened her legs and hips, and eventually found it difficult to climb stairs or even walk long distances. This common misunderstanding about health is especially prevalent among those over 70. But research tells us that a lack of physical activity is more dangerous than we might think. According to the latest studies from the National Institute on Aging, the risks of not moving are greater than many realize. A sedentary lifestyle, defined as sitting for more than 8 hours a day, can increase the risk of dementia by 15 times compared to people who stay active. The consequences of inactivity are even worse than smoking in some cases. In addition to the risks of inactivity, there's another modern health concern that many seniors are unaware of: the strain caused by digital devices. While smartphones, tablets, and computers can be incredibly helpful, long hours of screen time often lead to eye strain, stiff necks, and poor posture. These issues can contribute to sleeplessness, headaches, and even chronic pain in the neck and shoulders. So what can you do to manage your health effectively? I recommend starting with a 365-day, 3-minute challenge. Morning stretch, 3 minutes as soon as you wake up. Spend 3 minutes stretching your body. Focus on extending your muscles and engage in deep breathing to get your blood flowing and wake up your body. It's a small effort that can make a big difference in how you feel throughout the day. Post-lunch walk, 3 minutes after lunch. Step outside for just 3 minutes to get some sunlight and move around. Whether it's a short walk or simply standing and stretching, this quick burst of activity will help regulate your internal clock and improve your sleep quality later at night. Evening reflection, 3 minutes before bed. Take 3 minutes to reflect on your day. Slowly take deep breaths and allow your body and mind to relax. This simple routine can help lower stress and improve sleep quality. There's an old saying that a healthy body harbors a healthy mind. But in modern times, the reverse is also true. Maintaining a healthy mind can lead to a healthy body. By incorporating small, consistent actions into your daily routine, you can strengthen your heart and body. The key is continuity. You don't need intense exercise or restrictive diets. Small, daily actions like stretching, walking, and mindful breathing can add up over time, significantly improving your overall health. A respected orthopedist once pointed out that it's precisely in our 70s when we need to start moving our bodies more. Developing a moderate exercise habit now increases the likelihood of living independently well into your 80s and even 90s. Think of your body like a garden. It grows stronger the more you nurture it. But if you neglect it, it begins to wither. Just as a plant needs consistent watering and care, your body requires regular movement and balance to remain healthy. Mistake number 4. The fourth dangerous mistake is a distorted mindset, particularly regarding the heart, in the age of social media and the information society. As we enter our 70s and beyond, we find ourselves living in a fast-paced information age. Gone are the days when staying informed meant reading the daily newspaper or watching the evening news. Now, information is available to us 24/7, constantly flowing from social media, news outlets, blogs, and online forums. While this constant connection to the world can be beneficial, it also comes with significant mental and emotional challenges. Take the example of 72-year-old Charles. Every day, he checked his social media accounts, scrolling through posts from his friends, many of whom were his age. He saw pictures of them traveling overseas, spending time with their grandchildren, or enjoying hobbies like hiking and painting. Charles couldn't help but compare his own life to theirs. He felt anxious, believing that he was the only one left behind. Eventually, the anxiety took a toll, and he began to withdraw from social activities. He stopped going out, fearing that he was missing out on the experiences that everyone else seemed to be having. Similarly, 75-year-old Robert had developed a habit of searching for health information on the internet. Whenever he felt the slightest discomfort, he would immediately Google his symptoms. Unfortunately, this often led him to alarming websites with worst-case scenarios, making him worry that he was seriously ill. His worries spiraled out of control, leading to insomnia, a loss of appetite, and a general decline in his health. His fear of what he might discover online became a self-fulfilling prophecy, as the stress itself caused real physical symptoms. A recent survey by the National Institute on Aging found that 4% of people aged 70 and older reported feeling anxious about keeping up with the digital world. Even more concerning, 60% of seniors using social media admitted to feeling down as a result of comparing their lives to others. Social media, while connecting us to people all over the world, can also cause us to lose perspective on our own lives, fostering feelings of inadequacy and loneliness. 3 specific distortions of the mind can occur in this digital age, each of which can severely impact our emotional well-being. The comparison trap. On social media, most people share only the highlights of their lives, the vacations, family milestones, and achievements. It's easy to compare ourselves to these idealized versions of other people's lives, which can lead to unnecessary feelings of inadequacy or regret. Anxiety caused by information overload. Constantly consuming news and health information can overwhelm the mind and impair our ability to make rational decisions. With endless articles and posts offering conflicting advice, we can easily spiral into anxiety, unsure of what to trust. Obsession with digital image. In a world where appearances are often shared online, it's easy to become fixated on how we look, especially as we age. This obsession can harm real face-to-face relationships and distort our sense of self-worth, as we begin to prioritize online validation over genuine human connection. There's an old saying, "In our hearts, we are originally nothing." It suggests that our true nature is free and unencumbered by external influences. Unfortunately, the modern information society can often cloud this clarity, leaving us feeling overwhelmed, disconnected, and unsure of ourselves. So what can we do to protect our hearts and minds in this digital age? I recommend a digital detox, a way to restore balance and regain control over your emotional well-being. Set limits on screen time to avoid becoming overwhelmed. Set specific times for using your smartphone or tablet. For instance, limit your screen time in the morning to a specific period, and do the same in the afternoon. By setting boundaries, you reduce the time spent being influenced by the endless flow of information. Curate your information. Focus on information from reliable sources like newspapers and trusted news outlets. Avoid diving into the rabbit hole of unverified health claims or sensationalized stories online. Limit your social media use to a supplemental activity rather than the main way you connect with others. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment below to let me know that you are still here with me. Cherish real human relationships. There's no substitute for face-to-face interaction. Make time each week to meet with friends or family members in person. Even just a brief, genuine conversation without the distraction of screens can significantly improve your mental health and strengthen your relationships. There's another saying that goes, "A wise person knows nothing." This suggests that wisdom comes not from constantly seeking more information but from knowing when to stop. In today's world, this wisdom is more important than ever. we must learn to embrace only the information that serves us and avoid allowing unnecessary noise to disturb our hearts. By embracing a balanced approach to information and relationships, we can foster deeper connections and peace of mind. Mistake number 5. The fifth dangerous mistake is an economic error. As we enter our 70s, we face a growing number of economic challenges. In modern society, the financial landscape is evolving rapidly, and it's more important than ever to make careful, informed decisions about how we manage our money. With new financial risks emerging all the time, seniors must remain vigilant to avoid costly mistakes that can impact their financial security and quality of life. Let me share the example of 78-year-old William. After retiring, he began researching safe investment opportunities online, hoping to secure his financial future. He came across an advertisement promising high returns with minimal risk, so he decided to invest a large portion of his savings, trusting the ad's claims. William invested $5,000 in what he thought was a reliable financial product. However, he soon discovered that the investment was a scam, and his money was gone in an instant. All of the funds he had diligently saved throughout his life were lost due to a fraudulent scheme. Similarly, 71-year-old Dorothy, driven by the desire to help her children and grandchildren, decided to allocate most of her monthly pension to savings. While her intentions were noble, she began to sacrifice her well-being in the process. She cut back on medical expenses and neglected her health to save more money, only to find that her health worsened over time. Eventually, her medical bills soared, and she was forced to incur even larger expenses that could have been avoided with earlier investments in her care. A recent survey by the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, CFPB, revealed that financial fraud targeting seniors has been on the rise, especially with the growing use of digital technologies. In 2022 alone, older Americans lost more than $1 billion to fraud schemes, and the number continues to grow each year. The rise in online banking, smartphone payments, and digital investment has opened up new avenues for scammers to take advantage of unsuspecting seniors. Today's economic risks can be categorized into 3 main pitfalls. The danger of digital fraud. As more financial transactions move online, older adults are increasingly targeted by scams related to online banking, investment schemes, and smartphone payments. Fraudsters often use convincing tactics to steal personal information and money. Health risks caused by excessive saving. While it's natural to want to save money for the future, focusing too much on frugality can have serious consequences. Cutting back on essential expenses, particularly healthcare, can lead to bigger financial problems down the road. Ignoring necessary medical treatments or delaying checkups can result in expensive treatments later on. Incorrect asset management. Many seniors fall victim to high-risk investments or fraudulent financial products that promise quick returns but ultimately result in significant losses. It's essential to make wise, well-informed decisions when managing assets, especially as we age and our time horizon for recovering from losses becomes shorter. An old saying goes, "Understanding the flow of money leads to managing it well." But in today's world, this wisdom needs to be updated with a new layer of digital literacy. Seniors need to develop the ability to identify trustworthy financial opportunities and understand how digital tools can be used safely to manage their money. So how can we navigate these economic challenges? I recommend adopting the 3 wallets rule as a simple framework for managing your finances in retirement. The living expenses wallet. This wallet should account for about 50% of your monthly income. It's dedicated to covering your basic needs, rent, utilities, groceries, and communication costs. Make sure these expenses are prioritized so that your daily living is secure. The health management wallet. Health is wealth, especially as we age. Set aside about 30% of your monthly income for healthcare expenses, including medical checkups, medications, insurance premiums, and healthy food choices. Investing in your health now can prevent much larger medical costs in the future. The enjoyment wallet. The remaining 20% should be reserved for your happiness and well-being. This is for things like hobbies, dining out with friends and family, travel, or any other activities that enrich your life. This wallet isn't for frivolous spending, it's a necessary investment in your mental and emotional health, which is just as important as your physical health. An economic analyst points out that the key to financial success for seniors lies in balance. While saving money is important, it's equally important to spend wisely in ways that enhance your life. Expenditures on health management should be viewed as an investment to prevent much greater costs in the future. Ultimately, economic wisdom lies not in hoarding money, but in using it wisely to create a life full of joy, health, and peace of mind. Making careful economic decisions isn't just about saving every penny, it's about using your limited resources in a way that supports a life rich in experiences, relationships, and well-being. This is the true meaning of financial wisdom in our later years. Mistake number 6. The sixth dangerous mistake is stopping learning. As we age, many of us start to believe that we've already learned all we need to know. We might think, I'm too old to learn new things, or it's too late to study now. These kinds of thoughts can be harmful and can significantly contribute to the decline in mental and emotional well-being. Giving up on learning is one of the fastest ways to diminish our quality of life. Let me give you an example. Take 79-year-old Helen. She had long struggled with technology, particularly when it came to using a smartphone. Helen believed she was too old to master new devices, so she gave up trying. But as she wanted to stay connected with her grandchildren, she decided to push through her self-doubt and begin practicing. At first, it was frustrating. She couldn't figure out how to use the camera or even answer a call. But after 3 months of steady practice, Helen was not only using her phone comfortably, she was video calling her grandchildren. The joy of connecting with them sparked a new enthusiasm for learning, and she began exploring other ways to stay up to date with technology. On the other hand, 74-year-old Nancy thought that retirement meant there was nothing left to learn. She stopped reading the newspaper and watching the news, choosing instead to spend her time watching only entertainment programs. Over time, her conversations became less engaging, and she found herself unable to connect with friends as much. Her social interactions diminished, and slowly she began to lose touch with the world around her. Her cognitive abilities started to decline, and she became more isolated. Studies support this concern. According to research from the National Institute on Aging, adults aged 70 and above who continue to learn new things have a 40% lower risk of developing dementia compared to those who stop learning. The brain is like a muscle, it needs to be exercised regularly to stay sharp. It's never too late to start learning something new, and there are countless ways to engage your mind. Modern neuroscience has proven that learning not only helps maintain cognitive function, but can improve it by creating new neural pathways in the brain. So how can you start? Here's a simple approach I call the 15-minute learning method. Morning learning. 15 minutes. Start your day by spending 15 minutes reading the newspaper or a book. This activates your brain and helps you start the day intellectually engaged. Whether it's a news article, a chapter from a novel, or even a non-fiction book, this habit can set a positive tone for the rest of the day. Smartphone practice. 15 minutes after lunch, dedicate another 15 minutes to learning something new on your smartphone or tablet. Start with basic tasks like sending a text or checking an email, and gradually learn more complex functions. The more you practice, the easier it will become to navigate digital tools. Evening reflection. 15 minutes before bed, take a few moments to reflect on your day. Write a few notes in a journal or talk with family members about the day's events. This reflection helps consolidate the new knowledge you've gained and encourages personal growth. Research has shown that learning is one of the most effective ways to keep the brain young. When we acquire new knowledge, we stimulate our brains and foster the creation of new connections. This is crucial for maintaining cognitive health as we age. It's also important to learn how to navigate the digital world. Smartphones, tablets, and other devices can greatly enrich our lives if we learn to use them properly, opening doors to new connections, hobbies, and experiences. As the saying goes, to learn is to preserve one's youth. The true meaning of this statement is found in the joy of learning itself. Regardless of our age, we can continue to grow and develop by learning new things. The pursuit of knowledge doesn't just keep our minds sharp, it enriches our lives, allowing us to stay engaged, curious, and connected with the world around us. Mistake number 7. The 7th dangerous mistake is resistance to change. As we grow older, it's easy to fall into the trap of thinking, there's no need to change, because we've always done it this way. While this mindset may seem comforting, it can limit our potential and prevent us from discovering new opportunities for happiness and fulfillment. Resistance to change can keep us stuck in old patterns, making it harder to embrace the exciting possibilities that life can offer as we age. Take the example of 76-year-old Jack. For 40 years, he followed the same routine, shopping at the same grocery store, walking the same routes around his neighborhood, and watching the same TV programs. These familiar habits provided him with a sense of stability and comfort. However, when his local grocery store closed, Jack found himself unable to cope with this small change. He experienced significant anxiety and stress because his routine was disrupted, and he had difficulty adapting to the new situation. What seemed like a minor change to others became a source of great discomfort for him. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 3 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Similarly, 82-year-old Ruth refused to adapt to newer ways of living. She avoided using cashless payments and online shopping, believing that these technologies were too complicated for her. But when the COVID-19 pandemic hit, Ruth found herself at a disadvantage. The inability to shop online or use digital payment methods during lockdown led to significant inconveniences, making her feel disconnected and frustrated. This reluctance to embrace change drastically lowered her quality of life. Research backs this up. According to a survey by the National Institute on Aging, 65% of people aged 70 and older reported feeling anxious about keeping up with societal changes. However, those who were able to adapt to new ways of living, including digital technologies and shifts in daily life, reported much higher life satisfaction. The ability to embrace change can significantly contribute to a sense of fulfillment and well-being as we age. There's an old saying, flowing water does not stagnate, and this is true for life as well. Just as water that flows continues to stay fresh and vibrant, embracing change keeps our hearts and minds alive and engaged. When we refuse to move with the flow of life, we risk becoming stagnant, limiting our growth and the joy we can experience in our later years. In particular, there are 3 common rigid ways of thinking that we must address. The belief that I can't change because of my age. This is a mindset that many older adults fall into, but age is not a barrier to change. Human adaptability knows no age limits. There are abundant resources available to help seniors adapt to new technologies, lifestyles, and perspectives. We are never too old to learn, grow, and embrace change. The belief that I'm fine as I am. While it's important to feel comfortable with who we are, maintaining the status quo can sometimes lead to stagnation. In a rapidly changing society, refusing to adapt can leave us feeling disconnected and isolated. Growth often requires stepping outside of our comfort zone and being open to new ways of doing things. The fear that change is a risk. Change can indeed bring anxiety, but avoiding change can be an even greater risk in the long run. Refusing to adapt to new ways of living, whether it's learning how to use digital tools or trying a new activity, can make life feel limited and disconnected. Embracing change, though sometimes uncomfortable, opens doors to new experiences and enriches our lives in ways we couldn't have imagined. So how can we overcome these barriers to change? The key is to approach change with curiosity and an open heart. Try to see new technologies and ideas as opportunities for growth, rather than threats. Start small, perhaps by learning a new skill, taking up a new hobby, or simply trying a new routine, and gradually expand your horizons. The more we embrace change, the more we invite joy, fulfillment, and vitality into our lives. As we've explored today, many common mistakes can hinder our happiness and well-being as we age, from holding on to things that no longer serve us to resisting change and avoiding new learning opportunities. These pitfalls can weigh us down in ways we might not even realize. But by making small adjustments in our daily lives, whether it's embracing change, practicing lifelong learning, or managing our finances more wisely, we can create a more fulfilling and healthier future for ourselves. So what have you learned so far? What's one thing you've taken away from this video that you'll start practicing in your own life? I'd love to hear from you. Please share your thoughts in the comments below. If you like this video, please leave your comment below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Your support means a lot to us, and it helps us continue to create valuable content just for you. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.